an American tradition, marking July 4th with the Rockets' red glare. And the turbocharged Champ Car Land Rockets. We're at Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland. In the 20-plus years of the roar by the shore, drivers like Rahal, Unser, Sullivan, and Andretti have mastered this more than 2-mile road course. Now today's young American stars like Ryan Hunter-Reay and rookie standout A.J. Allmendinger are hoping to join this honored fraternity. But they have to contend with last year's winner here, Sebastian Bourdais, and the reigning Champ Car title holder, Paul Tracy, who will take the next step toward a championship. It's time for fireworks, Champ Car style. The Grand Prix of Cleveland starts now. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Today, the 23rd renewal of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. A beautiful Independence Day weekend along the shores of Lake Erie. They've fired the motors here at Burke Lakefront Airport. The 18 cars rolling out onto the racetrack for the next couple of hours of exciting action. And welcome to a beautiful city by the shores of Lake Erie. The fans have packed the Burke Lakefront Airport course one more time to watch the fastest road course cars in the country do battle here today. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us for round 5 of the 2004 Champ Car World Series Championship. It's been an exciting season so far. Paul Tracy dominated week 1. Ryan Hunter-Reay won big on the oval at Milwaukee. The Newman Haas team has been strong the rest of the season. But it's a whole new weekend coming up here at Cleveland. Paul Tracy has been at the center of the controversy because of what happened at Portland. Tracy will start from the pole here today. It's a season-long race, of course, to get to the Champ Car Championship, which he won a year ago. Every point precious, any mistake could be costly. Now in Portland, Alex Tagliani cost himself 2 points 2 weeks ago for failing to heed the move over flag. The man he held up was Paul Tracy, who's cost himself $15,000 for inflammatory post-race comments about the officiating. Let's take a look back now at Portland and sort out for you just what happened.
He's been held up a number of times. He got within 5 seconds of Bourdais, but then lost 3 seconds getting around one lap car, and now he's being held up a little bit behind Tagliani just when he needs to be making the fastest laps of the race. So
he has been complaining bitterly about Tagliani being parked in front of him. Neil Mickelwright has been in animated conversation with the kart officials over that. They never got satisfaction, but now with the pit stop, it separates them on the track, and Paul can go back to work.
Sebastian and Bruno had caught tag, he let them go by, and then I had caught tag, and in the time when I needed to make good laps, I got hung up behind tag, and he just didn't seem to want to let me go by.
Looking at it now, it's very easy to armchair quarterback and say we should have shown these flags earlier to tell him to let Paul by, and thereby give Paul a chance to attack the leaders.
You know, what can I say? I mean, I don't want to get into anything about what decisions they make or what process they go through to make their decisions, but ultimately my race was ruined. I was vocal about it.
The best thing you can do is that cool down lap after the race. It's not only a cool down lap for the car, it's a cool down lap for him.
It's forgotten about. For me, it's this weekend. My motivation is always every year in, year out, is to have a good race in Cleveland as it leads into my hometown in Toronto.
Paul Tracy, the quickest driver here on Saturday. He will start from the pole. Take a look at the season standings coming to race 5. Bruno Junqueira continues to lead the standings. Patrick Carpentier, who we haven't spoken much about here so far today, just 6 back. Sebastian Bourdais with the 2 wins. Tracy is 4th with the bonus point. Then Ryan Hunter-Reay and Justin Wilson. And I'm joined by my broadcast colleague, Tommy Kendall. Tom, certainly ironic. Tracy gained the point Friday. Bourdais lost the point. He was docked for blocking as well.
And watching him on camera there in that interview, that's not the Paul Tracy I know. It's like they've strapped him down and given him Prozac, but you can tell he's still seething underneath. And in the past, this is when the wheels fell off the Paul Tracy train. He's shown before he's able to rebound from this, but he's always done that by venting a little bit. The fact that he can't vent means that emotion is pent up somewhere. Heading into turn 1 here, pent up emotion is not what you want. The potential here in turn 1, it can be an absolute cluster dance is the word I was looking for. So stay tuned.
All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup. The starting grid powered by Ford for the Champ Car World Series. Tracy bagging the pole. He'll start alongside Justin Wilson.
And Justin Wilson just keeps getting better. He's a rookie, but he certainly doesn't drive like one.
Second row, here's Bourdais, another key player with Allmendinger.
Well, third is a bad start for Sebastian Bourdais. He really took this race by the horns, took it to Paul Tracy, and came out on top last year.
And the third row, Tagliani, who's a player in this.
Tagliani finally turning their ship around a little bit, but he's still anxious for that first win. On row 4, you have Patrick Carpentier, who's second in points and hasn't been heard from much this weekend, been off track a lot, but is dominant when he gets it all together like in 02. An All-American fifth row, Ryan Hunter-Reay, who was dominant in Milwaukee, has not been able to convert that into the same success on the road course, but has shown speed. Back in row 6, Mario Dominguez. He took that accident that put him out of the race there in Portland early very personally, felt he let his team down, wants to rebound. Oriol Servia, who's shown flashes of brilliance early in the weekends, but hasn't been able to convert it into a good qualifying or good race result yet. In row 8, Rodolfo Levine, who's shown a lot of speed this year that people weren't expecting, got caught up in Dominguez's mess, is anxious to put up a good result to recoup the momentum. And in row 9, bringing up the rear, Alex Sparafico and Gaston Mazzacane. Neither of these drivers clearly has come to grips with the Cleveland circuit.
So that is your 18-car starting grid, powered by Ford. The Champ Car World Series back on the racetrack here at Cleveland, the Burke Lakefront Airport circuit, getting ready to do battle. 97 laps around this 2.1-mile circuit here today. Yesterday, of course, qualifying, the Trans Am round here extremely competitive. They've laid down some new pavement. There's a big issue to talk about as we get ready to go racing here through this part of the course, turns 9 and 10, and coming to the green flag, coming to the start-finish line. Several drivers spun in practice and qualifying. Ready to go. Glad to have you with us, and we're underway. Tracy goes way left. 5 wide. Contact. Tracy goes around. Parts littering the racetrack. A couple of cars are in the grass. One of the MyJack cars is stopped on the racetrack. That is Justin Wilson, the outside pole sitter.
And what happened there is that's Paul Tracy's kind of signature move. He does it when he starts in the back. He goes way to the left. That is the normal preferred line to set up for turn 1 when you're all by yourself. He figured if he could get in there deep and turn, he'd be fine. But what happened is Wilson started heading for the inside, but then got clipped by another car and knocked back into Tracy.
Calvin Fish downstairs.
We're down here with Eric Bachelard, who manages this team. And Eric, we saw Justin go into that corner and make a sudden dive for the apex. Did you see on the monitor? What are your thoughts?
Well, just talking with Justin right now, I mean, he was a bit surprised because Paul was on the outside and Justin went on the inside, and then Paul turned right on him. So that's his comment. So doesn't seem very good from what I can see on TV. It seems the suspension is damaged, so it's a shame.
A big shame, because that was a tremendous qualifying performance by Justin Wilson. He is a rookie, of course, in this series, and typically a rookie will have seen Cleveland before, maybe in Toyota Atlantic or something else, but this was his first visit to this racetrack, so big disappointment for this team. Let's go down to Double D, Derek Daly.
With Neil Mickelwright, team manager for Paul Tracy. Neil, turn 1 is the signature corner at Cleveland. We know there's action. Do we know, is Paul's car damaged?
Yeah, it is damaged. It appears to be damaged on the right-hand side. Right now we're trying to ascertain the degree of damage to see whether we need to stop or whether we can continue.
Thank you, Neil. So it obviously is not too much damage, but Paul Tracy, who started on the pole, thought he was in the safest position to be able to control this, because remember, there's a new rule this weekend here. You cannot pass any car before you go by the start-finish line, which should have technically given Tracy a little advantage.
Well, Tracy's signature move here is to go wide left into turn 1 at Cleveland to avoid the carnage. Did he turn in too soon, Tommy, as we take another look?
Well, in a way, he almost, I mean, you can't blame this on Paul Tracy, but in a way, you got these guys that just can't help themselves. When they see daylight on the inside, whether it's a good move or not, they're going to go for it. So, in hindsight, you could go down the inside and just back everybody up early, but you certainly can't blame him. But leaving the inside wide open invited those guys. They just can't. It's like a pack of wild dogs and some hamburger meat.
Rookie Justin Wilson, who started on the outside pole, dove to the inside. The nose of the MyJack Lola heavily damaged, and it looks as though Wilson's day is over before one turn is complete. Back downstairs, Jan Beekes.
Well, we talked about Paul Tracy, but think about his teammate who has benefited from the crash down in turn number 1, Patrick Carpentier. We've talked about the fact that he was the winner here in 02. Interestingly, he didn't have a good qualifying session. Everything went wrong, and everything went right for Paul Tracy. Now we get into the first lap of the race. It's the reverse. This morning, he was one of the fastest cars in the warm-up and said, you know what, we didn't change the car much. What happened was it was just a bad qualifying setup, and when we fill it up with fuel and I get to race pace, it's fantastic. So now he qualifies 7th, finds himself 2nd, and has a car that he loves in the race.
Now we'll see how this plays out right now. Scoring is showing Sebastian Bourdais as the leader. We're on board here with Patrick Carpentier. as he rolls around under caution, wiping off the tear-off. You don't want to give up a tear-off too early, probably, because we haven't yet run a green flag lap. Let's take you back now as the field came to the flag. That's Tracy, way wide on your screen right, but left on the racetrack. Take a look at Tagliani.
That's Wilson just inside of him, and Wilson dives diamonds kind of for the inside, but he forgot that there's a whole bunch of other guys coming.
He touched Tagliani there.
I think he actually locked it up when he saw Tagliani. I'm not even sure that he touched Tagliani. It looked like he went back the other way before they hit.
As we watch the field funnel down the front straightaway, headed to pit road is pole sitter Paul Tracy. Derek Daly.
It may not be too serious. They're going to change the tires, give them some fuel, and generally look over the car, so there does not potentially seem to be too much serious damage on Tracy's car. Watching now for the wheels and tires, mechanic looking under. He said no. He said no. It's over. He's told to switch it off. The right side pod is too heavily damaged. One of the mechanics has said no, turn it off. The underwing is gone, he's telling them. The underwing is gone, which of course generates a large amount of the downforce.
I think it's partially the underwing, but also some of the fittings in there and oil coolers as well, Derek.
Tommy, if you remember at the top of the show, there's a statistic that went against Paul Tracy. Nobody has ever finished here 3 years in a row, and Paul finished the last 2. Now, they obviously believe they can do some sort of repairs to potentially get him back in this, but as regards Tracy being a challenger or a contender, I don't think so.
We are putting laps on the board. Working lap 3, still under caution. The yellow came out, full course yellow, immediately after the start. And let's take a look. Patrick Carpentier's helmet cam into 1. Was the sun a problem there, Tom?
I don't think so. The real problem there was Justin Wilson never having seen a start like this, and he ended up following Tracy to the outside. That left the inside wide open for all those guys. I think Tracy would have cleared the guys coming on the inside. Wilson says, I got Tracy, he's braking early. He went for the inside, and there was Tagliani coming down the inside. I'm not sure they actually hit. It looked like he locked his wheels up and did a tank slapper back the other way and got into Tracy.
Riding with Patrick Carpentier, turn 1 at Cleveland, notorious for that sort of carnage. It's happened here several times. Let's go back to 1993 into turn 1. Half a dozen cars involved in this dust-up. Then in the year 2000, a couple of the Penske cars, one of the Target machines. Was that PT at the Team Cool Green car there?
I think it was. And people ask why this happens in Cleveland. It happens all the time. You say, well, what can you tell them? But the reality is these guys are opportunity addicts. And so the fact remains, there's a huge opportunity to make up positions on the start. There's a big risk, but there's opportunity. And so you can talk all day long about nobody making a move, but everybody says if nobody makes a move and I do, I can get 10 guys. And that's why it happened.
Working on lap 4, this is 5 consecutive times. There has been an incident right after the start here at Cleveland going into turn 1. And I think the irony of this is Paul Tracy says, hey, I'm going to go way left to avoid all this, and he gets caught right up in it.
Yeah. In the past, that's where he's made some moves. He's been aggressive on the outside, but without the risk of not being able to get it turned on the inside.
Before we go back for another try at a green flag to Derek Daly.
Paul is in discussion here with Neil Mickelroyd. Paul, you look like an innocent bystander down there.
I mean, what are you supposed to say? I mean, I got a good start, had to jump, and the first thing I saw was Tagliani go flying by me in the braking zone, 100 miles an hour, too fast for the corner, and then I just got nailed. As soon as I turned for the corner, I got just nailed from the side, and really just a disappointing end to a perfect weekend.
Did you know, Paul, that Wilson was trying to get down the inside of you?
No, I mean, I was clear on the start. I braked where I would brake in qualifying. The corner was mine, so it's very, very disappointing.
Thank you, Paul.
Green flag back in the air. Let's try it this time. They're single file as they come to the restart. Bourdais is leading. Carpentier is second. This may benefit A.J. Allmendinger a great deal as he restarts third, and Servia up there in 4th spot.
Yeah, it benefits Sebastian Bourdais because it was going to be hard to get around Paul Tracy. And last year they battled. Paul Tracy and his team finally kind of blinked when they had a set of tires that didn't allow him to keep the pace up. But now Bourdais, all of a sudden, he's thinking, how am I going to get around Wilson and Tracy? Now he's in front with a car that's probably pretty quick.
And the guy that you liked yesterday, Tom, as we watched warm-ups in second-round qualifying, Oriol Serbia, he was quick in the morning. He took big advantage. Started 13th. He gained 9 spots on that dust-up.
Well, like I said, they haven't, other than Monterey, they haven't been able to put it all together at the right times like in qualifying. But to be up this far, up towards the front this early in the race, they don't have to rely on some weird pit strategy, a yellow falling their way. If they're good enough, they're going to be able to come away with a good result today.
Good question here going in. How much push-to-pass time? Remember, the drivers have a button now in the cockpit that gives them an extra 50 horsepower for 60 seconds in the course of the race. How much of that might get used? Well, you saw in one car, is that Tagliani off again? That's at the exit of 10. So the same spot where several drivers had problems in practice and qualifying, Alex Tagliani through turns 9 and 10 onto the front stretch, goes down into the cabbage. He comes back up onto the racetrack, but that will cost him a lot of time.
I think that's the furthest off we've seen someone go. He almost got to the other runway.
So the Rocket Sports Johnson controls Lola with Tagliani has not had a good start here today. 5 laps complete. Here's another look. He was crossed up the other direction.
That explains it. Yeah, he lost it in the right-hander.
Well, let's get the thoughts of his team owner, to Calvin Fish.
Paul, has been a rough start. Tag did get ricocheted off by Justin Wilson there in the first turn, and then he's trying to charge back through the field. What happened there in turn 3 and 4?
I think he's trying too hard too soon. You know, there's a lot of emotion when you have a fast race car. You want to be at the front, and when you let emotion rule, you make little mistakes. That's what's happened. It's a long race. We're still in this. He's a fast guy.
Okay, they're going to try and rebound. Let's go down to Derek Daly.
And we will hear from Derek shortly as we watch Sebastian Bourdais heading down the final short straightaway. That's the entrance to pit road. Actually, that's Tagliani as he comes by and back up onto the front straightaway. Tagliani, with that incident, has lost a lot of ground. He's being posted in 16th here at Cleveland. With Tommy Kendall, Iverick Benjamin, Derek Daly, Jan Beekes, Calvin Fish joining us on pit road today. Round 5 of the Champ Car World Series. As always at Cleveland, we said it 5 years in a row. A big scramble down into turn 1. Several cars heavily damaged. And the front row starters, pole sitter Paul Tracy. You just heard from Justin Wilson, the rookie who qualified second. They appear to be done for the day. Current standings, Bourdais leads Carpentier. Rookie A.J. Allmendinger, who started back in the second row, he benefited greatly as we watch Bourdais continue to add to his lead. Now, if you're the other guys who are trailing, if you're Carpentier, who won here 2 years ago, Allmendinger, who's had several good runs, Serbia in 4th spot, Bourdais been very hard to beat on the road course.
Well, when he gets out front, he's a tremendous front runner. When he gets out front, can control the pace. The number of races he's won from the pole, he's already making an impression in terms of the historic rankings. So this is not where you want to see it. Carpentier, this is kind of what he needed, though. He's had a fast car, but qualifying sort of been his Achilles heel. So now that he's got a couple of the fast guys out of the way, he's got him in his sights. Bourdais starting to ease away, but Carpentier, if he can keep him in contact, maybe get a yellow, he tends to get stronger as the races go along.
Riding with Carpentier, backside of the race course here. This is our visor cam. Driver's eye view down the straightaway. See the lights there on the steering wheel that help the driver know just what gear you're in, how fast you're going, that sort of thing.
And this perspective will share some of the difficulties of Cleveland. When you look out there, the glare on the surface, it's so wide, you don't have grass framing your view. It's really hard to pick up reference points. And when you sit as low as you do in this car, you have no perspective. The driver's eyes are probably 2.5 feet off the pavement, especially this part of the course. Look at this.
Tommy, you talk about reference points. After my interview with Justin Wilson, he then went on to say when he went down the inside, he had no intention of passing Paul Tracy or trying to, but he couldn't see the brake point anymore, didn't have a point of reference, and he jumped on the brakes right after Paul Tracy did, and that's when it all went wrong.
Carpentier on the button, heading down toward turn 5 and 6. Good battle starting to take shape here for 3rd spot. Oriol Serbia took big advantage of the incident in turn 1, moved up from 13th to 4th spot, and he's trying to reel in A.J. Allmendinger. He's about a second behind right now. Calvin Fish, a good early showing for the Dale Coyne car.
Well, it is for Oriol Serbia. Right now, Dale Coyne has fired up. What's the situation with Gaston Mazzacani?
They're black flagging Gaston for blocking. He's the next to last car on the track. The last car's 3 seconds behind him. They're not even running together, so I don't know how he can be blocking anybody. There's only one car it could be. It's Sparaffico, and he can't catch. Sparaffico can't catch him.
Talk about Oriole, he had such a tremendous start, and this is really indicative of the performance. He was third fastest yesterday, bad qualifying session though.
Yeah, no, he had a good start. He's experienced at this place, and messed down in one. He took advantage of it and got in there. So and he's hanging right there, actually moving up on Allmendinger a fraction. So we'll see how it goes for him.
Okay, well, he's calming down a little bit, boys. But one concern for this team, Oriole in the warm-up had a big fuel pickup problem. He was left with about 12 gallons in the tank when he was running out on the racetrack. So they're going to look at that carefully and see if he can make the full stint.
A.J. Allmendinger, Calvin, goes around, doesn't hit anything, but wow, a 360 and gets it out of gear.
Kept it running, though, it looks like.
Yep, just missed coming down to turn 8 there, and that's a place where we've seen several drivers brush the wall this weekend. Allmendinger will give up a lot of ground. Servia got by him. Here's another look.
This is easy to do. There's that big bump. You see the back suspension bouncing on the tires, and then right about there is when you go to the brakes and it transfers some weight forward onto the front wheels. If you're a little bit loose when you have to slow the car down, it's not straight line braking. That's exactly what happened. Back jumped around.
Was that good driving or luck that he didn't hit the tire barriers?
Well, it was probably good fortune. If it happened a little bit later, he would have been going faster. That's mostly good fortune.
So the rookie A.J. Allmendinger,
keeping it running, getting going again, that's good driving.
The rookie A.J. Allmendinger gets it back in gear, gives up 3 spots. He's back to 7th, so moves Servia to 3rd on the board. Jourdain 4th now. Mario Dominguez gains ground to 5th, and Ryan Hunter-Reay in 6th. And the battle a little further back, Bruno Junqueira.
I'll say a little further back. Bruno Junqueira started 6th. 2 of the guys that started in front of him are knocked out, and now he's running 9th. So he has not had a very good start. He used his push to pass to try to capitalize there on Allmendinger, trying to get back in his rhythm.
He got shuffled way back on the start, the big scramble down in turn 1. Let's bring back Derek Daly.
Very quickly, team manager Jeremy Dale, you watched the replay of the spin. Was he in trouble? Because I know he's on his way down the pit lane.
No, he's been happy with the car. He just hit a bump the wrong way. That's all. You know how treacherous it is here, Derek. Got a bit of a flat spot on the tires, so we'll stop now. We'll get a green flag stop in. He's here now, and we'll stay on the lead lap. I think we'll be fine.
Okay, he's stopping actually as we speak right here. So it is no damage on the car. Brand new Bridgestones going on. Filling with fuel. He's now out of sequence. That spin, Tommy, because he now came out of sequence, may not be to his detriment at the end of the race.
That's a big-time heads-up move by the Rousport team. They misplayed their strategy a little bit in Milwaukee, probably cost them a second spot with Jourdain. This is very heads-up. They can make it to the end on only 2 more stops. If you get a yellow between now and when the leaders pit, Allmendinger might even be leading this race.
15 laps on the board for Bourdais. 3 green flag stops necessary before lap number 84 of the 97 that make up the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. Ready for adventure. Coverage of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland, 23rd renewal of this great event. Alongside Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin. And you take a look at your top 5. Sebastian Bourdais benefited greatly from the front row getting knocked out in the first turn wreck. Paul Tracy, the pole sitter, contact taking him out at least for now. They were working on the car at last report. And then Justin Wilson, the MyJack car, rookie, starting on the outside pole. He tried to make a move to the inside, instead knocked the front wheels off the 34 car, and he's done for the day. For 5th now, as we watch this tighten up, Dominguez. I'm sure he knows Junqueira's back there, and it's got to be something that's concerning him right now.
Well, you've got, now that the race is in, these guys up front, since they got rid of the pit windows, fuel conservation becomes an issue. So you have a guy like Bruno, if he can get by Dominguez quickly, he'll do it. If not, he'll kind of settle in. He'll start short shifting, trying to save fuel. And what that'll allow him to do, it gives him another opportunity to get by him a different way. If he can stretch his fuel runs by going a lap longer than Dominguez does, he'll be able to leapfrog him when the pit stop cycle through.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is running 5th. He is directly in front of this battle now. He's got about a 4-second advantage on Dominguez as Ryan Hunter-Reay bagged that win at Milwaukee in a dominant force earlier. One car has spun out of turn 1. Looks like Gaston Mazzacani has gone around. Mazzacani gets it pointed in the right direction with a full throttle move there. And he comes back up to speed. Mazzacani running in 16th position. Ryan Hunter-Reay is headed to pit road early, Derek Daly.
There are no changes for Ryan Hunter-Reay. He started 9th, running in 5th. Whoa! Wheel spin and rev limiter. Running 5th despite the fact that he's already had a spin, but he likes the car.
They came out firing this weekend. Ryan Hunter-Reay told us a couple of times he thought he had something to get on the front row and really be a factor here. Hadn't shown it coming into today.
Well, not really. I mean, he felt like they had a quick car, and he was more bold than most drivers. Most drivers don't make any promises and say we're going to do our best, blah, blah, blah. He says, we have a car that can sit on the pole. If we don't, it's on me. Apparently, it was on him. But what they've done, pitting like that, the reason they did that is with these new rules the way they are, if everybody has a hair trigger, if they think there might be a yellow at all, you got to be in the pits before it goes yellow.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay back up through the gears. Patrick Carpentier with a problem. Looks like that there's engine trouble back there.
Yeah, there is an oil fire in the back of this machine, Rick. The Cosworth guy had come running up about 2 seconds ago. Spoke to his engineer, Eric Zito. There was some kind of problem. And then they black flagged him, got him in here. And the team have done the refueling, but there's a big, major problem at the back of the car. And this is heartbreak for Patrick. He's second in points. Had a demonic start there, getting up to second place in the race. So they're going to, I think his day is done. They're taking off the horseshoe around his neck. What a heartbreaker in the points chase.
These Ford Cosworth motors, very reliable normally, but Patrick Carpentier may have used a little too much motor getting there. Now, he came in second in points, as Calvin referred. He benefited greatly also at the drop of the initial green. That's a big situation for the Index Forsyth team.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with how hard Patrick's driving. These engines are generally dead reliable, and as a driver, you need to drive the car as hard as you need to drive it. And so you have a failure here. It has nothing to do with how he's been driving the car, but crushing to his race and championship.
So Carpentier is out of the Forsyth machine, unbuckling the helmet. And that will certainly deal his points situation a heavy blow. Second by 6 points coming in. Right now he's being posted back in 16th spot. So he will not pick up many points at all for his outing here today at Cleveland, if in fact they're done for the day. And that's certainly what it appears to be. So Bourdais continues to lead. Oriol Servia now climbs to second, but he's 14 seconds off the lead. Now Bruno Junqueira elbowing his way by Mario Dominguez.
And that's down there in the horseshoe, turn one. Dominguez must have gotten in a little bit too hot and didn't get off the corner very well. They race wheel to wheel into turn three, and Bruno has it on. Bruno, as we said before, a quick car might be the only guy that can threaten his teammate. He's got a long way to go and a lot of cars between he and Bourdais, but Bourdais is checking out like he's got an early flight to catch. Over a second faster than the second place car last lap. 59.0 to a minute .2.
Junqueira ran a 59.6 in that lap in which he took over fourth spot as he makes it out of turn one and heads to the backstretch here at Cleveland. Alderman's hole-in-the-wall gang camp getting some, I'm sure, very valuable marketing help on the rear wing of that car. Derek Daly.
Fellas, believe it or not, Sebastien Bourdais has just come on the radio and said the car is good, but he said it's not as good or as crisp as he had last year. Now, there is an understeer problem is the only change he wants to make, and they expect him in about lap 26, and they will make a front wing change. Can you imagine being that fast and saying the car is not quite as good as it has been in the past?
Closing right up on the back of Alex Sparafico's lapped machine, Bourdais is on the hammer. Ran a 58.9 last time by. Third to first in that first lap skirmish, and Bourdais 15 seconds ahead of Oriol Servia. Derek Daly is there to cover the stop.
Apparently they will make a front wing change to take care of a little touch of understeer. Otherwise, Sebastien Bourdais appears to be in control. Scrubbed Bridgestones going on, not sticker tires. There's the wing change, only on the right front, not on the left front. 11 seconds. Good stop. Calvin?
Down here with Patrick Carpentier, and that's a heartbreaking race for you, Patrick. Talk about the first corner. What happened down there?
Yeah, I saw a tag was going in there really, really hot, and I thought something was going to happen, and I saw the guy started to go in, and it got really tight, and this morning I practiced the line to really tight on the inside, because usually they bunch up and they go towards the outside, and just put it in first, and the car spun around, and I was out of there and gained a lot of places. Ended up in second behind Bourdais, but it's unfortunate because we could have made so many points today and be up top the lead of the championship with Bourdais, and now we passed that chance.
Well, a very rare Cosworth engine failure has put Patrick out, but for more on the news of Paul Tracy's incident, let's go down to our Jan Beekers.
Yes, and we heard about an under tray was damaged. Let's take a look at what an under tray is. It starts at the very front of the car and goes all the way underneath. It's a huge piece. You can see it runs the entire length of the car and underneath. So the damage for Paul Tracy being an under tray may seem simple. No way you could change that in time to salvage some points. Rick?
Tough break indeed for that team, as they have got a lot of work to do to make the repairs. Oriol Servia has inherited the lead for now. Hasn't yet made his fuel stop. We're told he's coming in next time by.
Well, this is significant for Servia to be able to run this much longer. Now, if there ends up later in the race that he's running closer within a couple seconds of the next position in front of him, this could allow him to, running these fast laps on hot tires, would allow him to leapfrog. Bourdais is far enough out in front of everyone. He can pit early, and it doesn't really matter. But this is something that is interesting. You start noting how long everybody can go on a tank of fuel.
As you saw, first time this season, Oriol Servia has led any laps in the Champ Car World Series. Down pit road, the Dale Coyne team will take care of the service needed on the 11. Calvin Fish there. They broke a drive shaft yesterday, Cal, but the car's running well so far.
It certainly is, and I mentioned before was significant, not just getting high numbers on this stop. They had a major fuel pickup problem yesterday, and again it reared its head this morning. So they look for fuel, fresh Bridgestone tires going on. 1.5 turns of left front wing, so he's got a little bit of push. He's back under his way. 12.5 seconds. Good stuff, the Dale Coyne boys.
And one of the PKV cars headed in. Rodolfo Levine headed in too. Sticker tires, the choice for Oriol. Are you surprised at that, Tommy?
Not really. The days where people seem to want to scuff their tires before they run them are over. The Bridgestones are such that from the get-go, they last so well. The reason you used to put a scuff on them or heat cycle is it cured them a little bit. The Bridgestones don't appear to need that. They last. They wear like iron. They are as fast on their last lap as they are on their second or third lap. So guys go hoard their stickers all weekend. If they can run stickers on every stint, they prefer that.
Green flag stops. This is Michel Jourdain. He had inherited the lead as he dives onto pit road. And car number 9, the Gigante car, observing the pit road speed limit as he rolls toward the attention of his crew.
Getting rid of a tear-off.
Drop the air jacks and the team goes to work. 30 laps up on the board. Bourdais retakes the lead. Bruno Junqueira is in as well. Derek Daly.
Shown in third place as he peeled off. He has gone on brand new tires. Remember, because of the incident yesterday, he has 2 brand new sets of tires because he hit the wall so many times. He didn't use them, but he's now P3. Well, one before he came in.
So Junqueira quickly off pit road. Another great stop knocked off by the Newman Haas team. Wow.
You see that crossover move? That's something that happens because of the pit exit here at Cleveland, and now he goes rocketing by. He's out of gear. I guarantee he's on the rev limiter in 7th gear because that becomes the longest straightaway on the track. But now he has cold tires that he's trying to get up to temp before Servia can get by him.
Now Servia with that stop, he only fell back to 4th spot, so he's not in bad shape at all. It's Bourdais, Michel Jourdain, Junqueira 3rd, and Servia 4th. So this is for position right now.
It is for position, and this shows the advantage. You see Bruno trying really hard to get those Bridgestones up to temperature. This is what happens when you run a lap longer than the guy in front. Servia pitted the lap before. Bruno ran one extra lap. It closed all the distance he was behind him, plus put him in front.
Strategy on pit road, very, very key. Now, we mentioned that Junqueira's had a difficult weekend here at Cleveland. Let's show you a couple of trips into the concrete. The Pacific Air Newman Haas team has had their hands full. Here's the first.
Wow, you see the back end just jump away, maybe on a down change, hard into the concrete wall, missed the tire barriers. Bruno says, not so good.
Track safety crew had to come out and pick up a lot of carbon fiber and other bits. Here's the second one, this one at least into the tires.
Into the tires, but still more work for the team. And the thing about this, he was quickest in the next session. And so that's the kind of thing where drivers need to keep their confidence intact, and they have to become their own shrink. Some guys are good at it, some guys aren't. Some guys can't rebound they're so down on themselves, they focus on what happened instead of ahead. But Bruno clearly is not doing that.
Now this is the battle for 3rd. Junqueira has the spot in the Pacific Air car. Servia right behind him in the YokeTV.com car. And Hunter Ray is right there as well. So it's a 3-car dogfight. Battling through some lap traffic, Alex Spirafico there in the MyJack car. His teammate Justin Wilson started on the front row today. Wilson crashed out on turn 1 of lap 1. But this is the battle for position. 2nd and 3rd very much in play now. Jourdain has Junqueira right up on his wing.
Tommy, earlier we asked you for your Bridgestone tires keys to the race. Here they are. How do we stack up now a third of the way home?
Well, I mean, we didn't get a chance to see on Paul Tracy. What happened in Turn 1 has nothing to do with the controversy whatsoever. But the surviving Turn 1 obviously was a key factor. It always is here at Cleveland. Now we're heading to driver fitness. I guess the driver fitness that's most important, Sebastian Bourdais appears to be literally in his own zip code. So unless... other than Junqueira, but unless we get some yellows, it's going to be hard for Junqueira to erase that distance.
Now let's take a look. You're on board with Michel Jourdain, looking out the rear of the Gante car at the third place machine of Bruno Junqueira. Jourdain's turned the wick up a little bit, but the gap's only about, not even a tenth of a second at this point.
No, and I have to tell you, I am impressed with Bruno Junqueira. I talked about what you have to do to kind of keep your confidence intact, and Bruno has clearly done that. One of the things I've been, I don't want to say critical of, about Bruno, it's what you should do, the way the point systems are, the way they have the point system set up. The right thing to do in Champ Car racing is to be very conservative. It's not to take chances. It's not to race wheel to wheel. It's always play it safe. The rules, the way they're set, encourage that. And I appreciate that Paul Tracy's the other way.
4-second spot. The inside of Turn 1 belongs to Junqueira. Takes the Pacific Air car inside Jourdain. So Junqueira moves to second now, and he'll set sail trying to chase down his teammate. But Bourdais has opened up a 30-second lead through all this battling.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. In years past, Bruno would always say, or not in years past, sometimes he'll say, you know what, I'll rely on Newman Haas. I'm not going to pass him on the track. But here, he has got the wick turned up. He's got a great car. It's neat to see Bruno Junqueira really clicking and showing us what he can do.
Jourdain just radioed in. He's upset about his tire pressures. They did not bring them up enough. He just brushed the wall coming off Turn 8, that time right before Bruno passed him.
He is clearly slowing a little bit, Derek, as we watch on board with Jourdain. We're going to take you back just a few seconds and have a look-see where he nearly got into the fence off of 8. He did get the wall.
Did get into the fence.
He white-walled that right rear, that left rear tire as he came around the corner. And that set up Junqueira to make the pass. Here's another look coming off the turn.
Yep, see the car shudder when he trying to keep Bruno Junqueira behind him. There's a big bump, kind of a compression at the apex. And there's another car coming around that Oriole Serviette coming around the outside. Here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay.
So Jourdain, after that trip into the wall, giving up a lot of ground on the backside of the racetrack. Posted third last time by. He now sits in fourth, and he may go back to fifth.
Well, this is one of those things that knocks you out of your rhythm. So you get rattled, and you've got to regroup as quick as possible. You got to do a couple of things. You got to assess whether the car is damaged. But even if the car's not damaged, it's hard to get back in that rhythm. These other guys know that now is the time to also pounce.
38 laps going up on the board next time by. Let's get it downstairs to Derek Daly.
With Keith Wiggins, team manager, co-owner of the Herdez team. Keith, you made a statement yesterday that the team didn't produce. They sure seem to be producing today. You're more pleased?
Yeah, I mean, the way it's going at the moment, I think compared to last year, we had good cars. So to come here stronger this year with two good drivers, we were disappointed with qualifying. But, you know, Mario was always aggressive in the race, and I knew that what we saw from Ryan yesterday wasn't where he should have been. It's easy to make excuses. Hopefully today we're trying to correct that one.
You made an early pit stop. That was part of a plan?
Yeah, with Ryan, yes.
You think he can challenge for the lead here?
Well, we've always got to have that goal, and yeah, I think we can. I mean, it's tough. I still think, you know, whether we've got the best out there today or not, car-wise, I'm not sure, but obviously we're pretty close, so we'll have to see how it pans out in the last. Once the last stops are over, we'll see.
Thank you, Keith. One of the best teams in the business, Herdez.
Ryan Hunter-Reay with a bold move to get around Michel Jourdain a moment ago and pick up fourth spot. Starting to reel in Oriole Serviette now for third, so I think they found something with this four-car. And here it is again, Tommy.
This is part of why everyone loves to watch and race at Cleveland. Plenty of room to get inside people. I think here's a case of Jourdain unhappy with his tire pressures. He's hit the wall, and so he's kind of knocked out of his rhythm. Probably not that much slower than Hunter-Reay, but still trying to get settled back down.
So move Ryan Hunter-Reay to fourth on the leaderboard. Took big advantage of the Turn 1 incident. Meantime, how's Junqueira doing, trying to reel in his teammate? Well, not so well so far. 33 seconds back. Bourdais really turned it up. He's gained another second on Junqueira.
Well, Junqueira is running incredible laps. Unfortunately, Bourdais is running even more incredible laps. They're both in the clear 1-2. Two of the only 3 cars running in the 59-second range. But that's not really that important. I mean, like I said, if he doesn't get a yellow, erasing whether it's 20 seconds or 30 seconds, it doesn't really matter. If you get a yellow, though, I'm not convinced that Bruno doesn't have something for Sebastian.
It's early in the going, not quite to halfway, working lap number 40, watching Junqueira run in second spot. He's chased Bourdais home at Monterrey, Mexico, and again at Portland, and caution on the racetrack. A full course caution. And we'll try to see what has happened as we watch the Gulfstream car of Jimmy Vasser, Rodolfo Levine there. Everyone off the gas, heading off of turn 1 and to the back part of the race course. Could be just debris. We've had several incidents on the track, and it could be that Champ Car officials want to go around and take a look at things. We'll try to get a word and see exactly what is happening as they work a full course yellow for the second time here this afternoon.
Now this is a real major blow to the guys like Hunter Ray, the guys that stopped early. They're about to come in for their second stop. Now the yellow's out. They can't get a green flag stop ahead of everybody else. So I was just about to say that one thing Junqueira could have done is he could have gotten out of sequence against Bourdais, and if a yellow fell, he'd be in front of Bourdais. Now that the yellows come out before him and he did that, doesn't matter.
Watching Mario Dominguez and Rodolfo Levine go by, it is indeed a caution for debris as we put lap 40, working lap 41 on the board. Full course yellow in the Grand Prix of Cleveland. Not quite to halfway. Alex Tagliani comes to pit road. They service the 8 car. Calvin, stop under caution.
Well, it is, and it's really just the strategy playing out. I just spoke to Phil Howard. I said, why are you stopping? He said, well, you know, we're in the middle of the pack. Yes, we're going to lose a little bit of track position, but now we have a full fuel tank. We can do shorter stints and be much quicker from here to the checkered flag. They'll still need to do 2 more green flag stops, however.
Tagliani's been off once. He was involved in that first turn incident as well, though the car wasn't damaged evidently. What does this do for him, Tom?
Well, what this does is this is a pretty good play if it stays green the rest of the way, because what he has a lot of fuel on board now, and his last stop will be a real short one. They can even it out into even segments like they said, or they can try to make their last stop a real short one and count on hoping to have a clear track while other guys and running really fast laps to leapfrog some of these guys in front of them.
Well, Bourdais will be the restart leader. He won here at Cleveland a year ago after Paul Tracy led much of the early going. That race ran under the lights here in 2003. And a late afternoon start here today on Independence Day weekend. Leaders heading toward the restart. Quickly to Derek Daly.
Jeremy, very quickly, we thought AJ was at a disadvantage because of that yellow. You don't think so?
No, I think we're in better shape here, Derek, because the yellow has allowed us to catch the pack. We were very close to a fuel window there, so we're about to stop when we come back to green, but we would have gone down a lap had we done that stop before the yellow. Now I believe we will not go down a lap, so I think we're okay.
Interesting, Tommy.
Well, that's something that the pace that Bourdais is doing that's making it hard to stay on the lead lap on the out-of-sequence strategy.
3 wide, down to turn 1 off the restart. Servia giving up ground. Hunter Ray trying to get by him. He does, but there's other action back a little further. Jourdain, Dominguez, Levine on board with Jimmy Vasser off the nose of the 12 car. Vasser 8th on the restart. He's right behind Levine. He's going to try him here. Oh, trouble. One of the Urdez cars, Ryan Hunter Ray, had just passed Servia. He spins on a fast part of the racetrack. I'm sure there'll be at least a local caution, and he's stalled. He's dead in the water, full course yellow. Ah, tough break for Ryan Hunter Ray. Calling for help to try to get the 4 car refired. Cold tires, Tommy?
Yeah.
Squeezing the throttle a little too hard.
That's a tough part of the racetrack. You have a very similar dynamic to the combo that was causing all the trouble coming onto the front straightaway. Whenever you come onto these taxiways, there's a big compression, and the front side of the runway that you're hitting first is basically banked towards you. Then when you go over the crown of the road, it's crowned to keep the water running off for the airplanes landing. You have this big compression, all this energy stored in the rear springs.
Side by side with Servia trying to get by him here on the outside, and that's what upset the car.
Oh, and they got together. Basically, he's trying to pinch it. Makes it even tighter when he hits that compression.
Clipped Servia on the way by. He had the inside line on that left-hander, but...
I'm not sure if they hit. Well, we're going to see.
Can't tell really from that. It was a little after whatever happened, but perhaps Serbia just ran him out of road.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's on the outside of the right-hander. It makes the left-hander a lot tighter. This view might show it. This view probably will.
Good look here. Wiggles the car.
I don't think they hit. I think he just had to pinch it so tight that it on the cold tires and hitting the bump sent him away.
They're going to tow the 4 car around to pit road as he has stalled one more time. Still under full course yellow, but this will cost him tremendously in terms of track position. He'll probably go at least 1 lap down here. Now, when a caution comes out, the decision to throw the caution, earlier we had a full course caution for debris, the decision is made in Champ Car Race Control, located just to our left here at the end of the front straightaway. Let's take a look inside what happens in race control during an event.
Everything you see happening when you're watching the broadcast in terms of the conditions is really coming through this room. We coordinate all the movement out on the track. We communicate with all the officials. All of the teams are required to listen to designated frequencies, so if we need to pass information to them, it's coming through me.
My job's basically to analyze the data. If there's any controversy, our cars too close to each other, giving the stewards a head up of what's going on.
We do the actual observation of the practice session is for judgment calls, shortcuts, bad driving, accidents, and that's really where the stewarding part comes in.
When there's an incident on the racetrack or a car misbehaving, something mechanically may be wrong with the car, they call into us. And we also get the information from the corners, and we have a look at all the TV monitors we have so we can help out and dispatch the situation.
Green flag, green flag, green flag, green flag. 3 and 5-5, 3 and 5-5, 3 and 55 on front stretch safety. Responding, safety's on the way.
Our safety team is the absolute best in the country, probably in the world, and they have tons of experience. So my job is to keep them going.
We'll have an incident. We'll determine what we're going to do with that. We'll do all of our dispatching, and we'll get the situation under control relatively quickly.
Ryan Hunter-Reay on pit road. Calvin Fish.
And he is fired up. He had real problems with the gearbox when they're trying to tow him, get a bump start, so they're doing fuel only, no tires, and I would think they'll top him up and then try and do a real quick tire change under green. One of his crew members goes down, giving him a shove, and Ryan Hunter-Reay is mad.
He's got to be frustrated. That shuffles him back to 14th spot. It does show him 1 lap down as well as he heads back to the racetrack. A.J. Allmendinger has also made a stop during this full course caution. Lights are out of the safety car. Green flag will be in the air this time by Sebastian Bourdais with a couple of wins already here in 2004. Leads his teammate, Junqueira, who's the points leader, Servia, Jourdain, and Dominguez. The only place where Bourdais has really had problems has been Milwaukee, where he just had a difficult night down into the wall and had to retire early. But on the road courses so far this year, the Newman Haas team has really, really been strong. And Paul Tracy, after wrecking out in turn 1, well, it's all early in the season, 5th race of 16, but that certainly deals his repeat championship hopes a significant blow. Getting up to speed, couple of turns to get back to the front straightaway. Green flag back in the air, and Bourdais leads him down to begin lap 47. Trouble. Levine and Gonzalez have gone around. Rodolfo Levine continues his string of difficult runs. Green flag, at least for the moment, remains out.
Bruno was able to get around Mazzacane right when they came to the green flag, so he's now got 1 car, Nelson Philippe, between he and Bourdais, but Bourdais is checking out. You see Allmendinger trying to capitalize, heading down into 3 on, I believe that was Dominguez.
A.J. Allmendinger was posted 8th last time by. It looked like Dominguez might have been off the pace. He was 5th on the restart. The incident involved the 21 car of Rodolfo Gonzalez, Roberto Gonzalez, I should say. Here comes Allmendinger.
That's Hunter-Reay, I'm sorry, in front of Allmendinger.
Ryan Hunter-Reay back in 13th, so that would be the situation. Here they are coming to the green flag. That was Levine in the Corona Beer car. And Gonzalez spins the NII car.
Looks like Levine spun in the right-hander, much like Tagliani did earlier.
Another look at it. This is turn 9 and 10.
Yep, there's Levine spinning on the right, and then a little sympathy spin by Gonzalez. Not sympathy spin, but trying to get out of the way.
A.J. Allmendinger coming down pit road, as is Gonzalez. Derek Daly.
And remember, Tag pulls in first, then Ryan Hunter-Ray, then A.J. Allmendinger comes in. According to Jeremy Dale, the team manager, this still keeps them on par for having an advantage because of the early stops. This will have to play out before we will say we will believe Jeremy or not.
10-second stop for Allmendinger under green. Look at the drag race at the end of pit road. Heavy traffic getting back onto the race course. Allmendinger, the last of a group of 6 cars heading back onto the racetrack. And they are funneling off pit road, joining the track at the exit of turn 1, which is a dicey place to come back onto the racetrack.
It is, and unfortunately, I see what Jeremy's saying. They're basically doing the same thing over again. They're pitting early. If you go a lap down, that ruins it. He says because of the pace Bourdais was running, they were about to go a lap down before the yellow. The problem they're going to have now is Allmendinger is behind all those cars that are admittedly a lot slower that are in front of him. He needs to run a quick pace and get around these traffic, not be impeded by these guys for this to work.
Just past halfway now at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland as we focus on Allmendinger, who's running an 8th spot, but he is being shown 1 lap down to the leaders. Your top couple of cars, Bourdais and Junqueira. Now, we thought Junqueira on the restart might have an opportunity to chase at his teammate as we see a move there by Allmendinger going by Haberfeld. That is not for position. Gonzalez goes by. Looks like Haberfeld may be off the pace here. There's Mazzacani to the inside. Haberfeld in 13th being lapped by Allmendinger this time around.
Rick, the real winner during that pit stop sequence there was Tagliani. We saw him pit under yellow, and Phil Howard and the boys really pulled a shrewd move there. They were able to do an ultra-quick stop when it went back to green, and Tag passed about 4 cars there in that sequence.
Good move indeed by the Johnson Controls team, trying to make up for a spin earlier where Tagliani went down into the grass. He also was involved in that turn 1 contact just off the initial start today. Running order at the top of the screen. Justin Wilson with a very, very difficult weekend here. A lot of folks hoping for big things for the MyJack team. Wilson started on the outside pole. Things settling back down under green with 47 laps to go. Bourdais has a 5.5-second lead over Bruno Junqueira. With Al Spire of Bridgestone Tire, let's get it downstairs to Jan Vikas.
Well, while we have the opportunity, Al, let's take a look at a tire that came off of a car. What have you seen with the front tires here?
Well, Jan, this tire Cleveland is very tried and tested for us. You can really run it hard. But I saw the tires that came off the Newman Haas cars at the first pit stop, both Sebastian Bourdais and Bruno Junqueira. And their tires look very much like this, very smooth on the outside, just a little bit of grain on the inside shoulder, which is typical of what we see at Cleveland. But we at Bridgestone are very happy with the tire performance here.
Now, a lot of drivers love this tire. I know Paul Tracy, it's one of his favorites. What about the alternate tire? That's another, it was popular with some drivers, not others. Will we see it back?
Yeah, well, 2 things. Paul liked this tire here. He'll get a chance to run it again in Mexico City, so he can look forward to that. And I talked to our Bridgestone engineers who are very sharp. They told me if we're going to use an alternate again, it'll either be at Montreal or Laguna Seca.
All right, we look forward to that. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
Those are a couple of the events we look forward to later in the Champ Car World Series season. Next week, we're at Toronto for the Molson Indy Toronto, riding with Michel Jourdain, who runs third, but Oriol Serbia knocking on the door right there in Dale Coyne's 11 car. Tommy, it's been a good day for that team.
It sure has. And now what's affecting these guys, which will play into the people like Tagliani's hands, is Nelson Philippe was holding this whole train up to a large degree. It's hard to tell if Serbia is on Jourdain's back bumper because he's that much quicker, or if Jourdain's being held up by Nelson Philippe.
As we watch this battle for 3rd spot, Jourdain, you're riding with Michel Jourdain in the Agante car. Your Ford telemetry up high. One of the Roos Ford entries.
Taking a look.
Yeah, down into 1. Very close now, the battle. And right behind them is Mario Dominguez. He's in contact with this battle for 3rd as well.
And Jourdain, you can see there is in the red car, is not up on the back bumper yet of Nelson Philippe. So it looks like Serbia is just the quicker car at this point.
Oriol Serbia trying to make a move here, get back into 3rd spot. He led the race for a couple of laps earlier. Right now, though, this one firmly in the hands of Sebastian Bourdais. Just past halfway, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. Some very interesting pit stop strategy. Bruno Junqueira was running 2nd. He was first to pit road. Michel Jourdain hasn't stopped yet. Now here's Tagliani to the inside in turn 1. gets around Dominguez there.
Dominguez just having made his pit stop on the last lap. His tires are not as warm as Tagliani's. Tagliani trying to capitalize, but Dominguez knows it's vital that he not let Tagliani by.
Doesn't have much to say about it. Tagliani on the outside just blasts past.
That was a good call, Calvin Fish, when he said that those guys, the Rocket Sports team, felt really happy. They topped him up under fuel under yellow, but to qualify as a green flag stop, you need to come in and change tires. They were at rest not very long, and it's starting to play out for them.
Because the fueling does take longer than the tire change.
Exactly.
Down the short straightaway to one of the right-handers. There's Nelson Philippe's lease plan car. Philippe running in 11th. Not a bad day for the young rookie, the 17-year-old youngest driver ever to race in the Champ Car World Series. And there is Servia being shuffled back to 6th now. Watching Philippe, the white side pods tell you that's the second Rocket Sports entry. Ryan Hunter-Reay back in 12th spot. Philippe a lap down. Here is Servia.
Looked like Vassar was starting to make a move on Servia.
6th, yeah. Jimmy Vassar, I believe, has gotten by on the inside of Oriol Servia.
Yep.
The PKV Lola, the Gulfstream car. Let's take a look off the back of the roll hoop of Jimmy Vassar's car. Servia seeming to back up here a little bit in this second stint, Tommy, after the second round of stops. Sticker tires not working for him?
Hard to say.
Vassar up through the gears. The Ford telemetry for Jimmy Vassar, the PKV 12 car. 4th gear right now. Heading toward the difficult turn 9 and 10, reaching 160 miles an hour and more. The great veteran Jimmy Vassar holds the qualifying track record here set in 1998. Vassar now running in 6th position. Good race so far for Jimmy. Let's ride full throttle with the former Champ Car champion. With a great move in turn 1, takes Mario Dominguez for 5th spot. So the great veteran Jimmy Vassar on the charge here, Tommy Kendall, as we work toward lap 60. 39 to go at Cleveland.
And this is where you've got different guys, different amounts of fuel on board. They're all kind of on slightly different strategies, but Vassar definitely getting stronger as the race goes along.
Wrestling that wheel to the right now. You can see Vassar's hands at work. And Jan Bikas, he gets a lot of information from the readout on that steering wheel, doesn't he?
He does. He has a lot of buttons to work as well. The information you're talking about is here up across the top. You can see that you have shift lights. You have a choice of the different information that you have to show on the page. You change the page switch. And we don't have a whole bunch of time. We couldn't really spend the whole time on every button, but the quick ones: push to pass, radio, pit speed limiter, the map for the engine, and resetting the fuel during the pit stops.
Very cute. Drivers very busy here. A lot of people think this is an easy thing to do. Anything but. Good battle again down into turn 1. Battling for position. You've got Dominguez, Vassar, Servia. Meantime, here comes Jourdain, who is on the lead because of the pit stops. Ready to make a stop, Derek Daly. I'm assuming they'll want to do a lot of changing to Jourdain's car after the trouble he had earlier.
Well, first of all, it's a time of celebration because this is the first time this new Rouge Sports team has ever led a race. I believe they led 5 or 6 laps. Jourdain still thinks there's something wrong with the left rear suspension. They are only making a front downforce adjustment, I believe, to give him a turn of wing only on the right front. 11.6 seconds for Jourdain.
Jourdain is down and away. He was leading by 11 seconds. This puts Bourdais back in front. Jourdain accelerating through the gears. Very good run considering he got into the wall earlier, Tom.
The bigger question is going to be where he comes out relative to everybody else. And we saw that Tagliani was the big winner on that early pit stop lottery. But Jourdain, even after his stop, is now in front of Tagliani.
So Bourdais retakes the lead. Now, we'll show you, this is a while back, what happened to the 9 car, the Rousport car of Jourdain. Clipped the wall coming off of turn number 8. We were talking about possible suspension damage there. Didn't seem to bother him any once he settled back down and got back into his rhythm.
Well, if he's still complaining about it, might have knocked it out just a little bit.
So Jourdain up through the gears. He comes back out of the racetrack in 3rd spot. Working toward lap number 64. Bourdais down the front straightaway. A 9-second advantage. Backs off into 1, but that last shot we saw from behind the Office Depot McDonald's car looked as though a plume of white smoke came up from the turbo there.
Don't see anything now. I'm wondering if that's some of the silt down there that was in the run from turn 8 to turn 9.
Let's take another look here. This is what happened to Michel Jourdain while he was leading a few moments ago.
Look at the left front suspension. Those horizontal links between the nose of the car and the wheel. When he hits the brakes, hits the bump, see that vibrating. One of the mounting points of the wishbone, it looks like, has broken from that earlier encounter with the wall.
You see all the flex there, and Michel knows he's got a problem. He had already said, I'm coming in. He's off the gas. Trying to go as quickly as he can down the straightaway there while doing so safely. Look at the wheel turned a little to the right. Now Michel Jourdain is with our Derek Daly.
Michelle just had a chance to watch the monitor here over our head. I know it might be a little consolation, but you've led a race for the first time for this new team. You really had a great day. But what happened? Was that the wall brushing incident earlier?
Yes, when I went out after the pit stop, the car was bottoming a lot and sliding, and there I just tried to give a run and I brushed the wall. And at the beginning, I think something was just bending and moving around, because one lap the car was very good and one lap the car was terrible. So, and I had to just drive it different all the time, and suddenly just broke, and that's it. So it's a shame because we had a great day going.
Michelle, historically this has been a physically very difficult racetrack. How was it out there for you physically in the cockpit?
It's not so hard today. I mean, it's the humidity is not too bad. So to me today it was going okay.
Thank you, Michelle. Great job. Let's go down to Jan Beekes, who can give us more of an explanation of what actually broke on Michel Jourdain's car.
Well, we talk about A-arms. We don't see them too often. Here's what they do. They're in the shape of an A, and here's where they mount to the wheel, or the upright as it's called. If you did take a hit on the wall here, you would either have a failure here in this connection point, as Tommy was saying, or it might actually kink the tube. Either one of those two, you're going to lose the A frame that supports the whole upright in the wheel. That was the problem for Michel Jourdain.
And it could have been a very dangerous situation. We'll take another look at what happened when Jourdain realized what the situation was in just a moment. Meantime, Alex Tagliani, the Rocket Sports team, a different fuel and pit stop strategy for the bunch, working the 8 car with Tagliani. He went off earlier, spun hard into the grass, went deep into the rhubarb here, coming toward the front straightaway, but they've really gotten it gathered back up, and he's running a nice 3rd.
Well, they kind of reset themselves, put their heads together, and when Paul Gentilozzi said it's not over, they decided, hey, here's how we can maybe make lemonade out of these lemons. The important part is also sharing that with Alex Tagliani so he doesn't get discouraged, can get on the same page as everybody else, and he has really driven well. They got out of the pits quickest of that whole gaggle that stopped right after we went green, and they're in 3rd place.
As we work on lap 66 of the 97, your race summary at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. The front row starters involved in a turn 1 wreck. 5th year in a row there's been a first turn incident here at Cleveland. Bourdais has led 57 of the laps thus far of the 67 we have run here today. So it's been another dominant road course effort for the Newman Haas team. And if there's a track, Tommy, where you would have expected Sebastian Bourdais to be strong, it's here where he won so convincingly a year ago.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the kind of place where, you know, the guys that are the real guns in this series, when you get to the faster tracks, those are the ones where in a slow corner the risk isn't near the same. When you get to the fast tracks, the guys that really thrive at the Paul Tracy's, the Sebastian Bourdais, the same guys tend to rise to the top.
The progress through the field of Alex Tagliani here today, rising to third now after that trip off the racetrack earlier. Working on lap 69. Some good battles taking place a little deeper in the field right now. Mario Dominguez, Rodolfo Levine, they're contesting 8th. Dominguez has the spot. He's been up in the top 5 a couple of times today. Rodolfo Levine also had gained a lot of ground earlier, and now he's putting a lot of pressure. Dominguez not having a particularly good run here today. Dominguez had some good going early, but now he has really settled down, and Levine all over him here as they come by the entrance to pit road. Your Ford running order, top of the screen. We see some drivers among the front runners who've burned up all of their push-to-pass time already. Tagliani and Vassar among those. Dominguez and Levine also have no more push-to-pass time left. Push-to-pass, if you're new to Champ Car, there's a button on the steering wheel that gives you an extra 60 seconds worth of turbo boost that gives you 50 more horsepower, used coming off a corner onto a long straightaway so you can try to pass another car. Up top, we're showing you the running order plus the amount of push-to-pass time the contenders have left. Servia has only 15 seconds left, but A.J. Allmendinger there is conserved. He's 6th, and he's got 41 seconds left, so I think we can expect to see Allmendinger lean on the button a little bit here in the final 28 laps today at Cleveland.
Say the final 28 laps. Now that's about what we calculate that one of these cars will run on fuel. So when we say the window is open, it's when you're within 28 laps at the end, the window is now open. If someone wants to make their final green flag stop, they can stop now, still make it to the end of the race. I would expect someone to make that gamble. You get a yellow between then and when the leaders pit, you're in good hands.
Well, we're hearing the 2 of the top 3 are about to do that.
Well, I mean, Bruno Junqueira is the best candidate. Stopping earlier than somebody else is a disadvantage in terms of when you're heating the tires up, but that's a 3 or 4 second swing. So there's nobody within 12 seconds of Bruno Junqueira, so he can roll the dice here. Puts the heat a little bit on Bourdais.
Junqueira rolling down pit road now. 69 laps complete. Derek Daly is there.
Except they will add half a turn of front wing. He has understeer or push. Understeer is a problem with both Newman Haas cars.
Calvin. Eric Tagliani is in, and they've got the fuel done. Scrub tires. Great stop for these guys. Superb run. No changes whatsoever. Tag very happy with the balance of the cars.
Now, if the Newman Haas cars are pushing a little bit, Tom, and they're as dominant as they've been, what happens if they get it right for this last stint?
Well, it tells me that probably the way the track is, you can't get it right. You're probably going to, it's probably a characteristic more of the track right now than the car itself. If they're pushing, let's see, Bourdais says he can't risk staying out. He pits a lap later than Junqueira. Down to Derek.
Here's the McDonald's car. He has said at the last moment he doesn't want a further front wing change. There is grass all over the front wings of this car, so he's either been off or he drove over somebody else's debris. Last round of fuel. Good stop for Sébastien Bourdais.
Less than 10 seconds to stop for the guy who's dominated here today. Bourdais with 2 wins on the first 4 races. Dominant 2 weeks ago at Portland International Raceway. On his way perhaps to his 2nd consecutive win here at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. Vassar headed toward Calvin Fish.
Well, the man making his 188th consecutive start, Jimmy Vassar, brings the PKV Gulfstream car in, and they have brand new sticker tires going on. Looks like a good clean start, waiting for fuel. A.J. Allmendinger's in. Derek Daly.
There is no changes for A.J. Allmendinger. He likes the car. Their mission is to jump ahead of Servia during this pit stop, and particularly on the outlap. Good stop again for the Roo Sports team.
And Allmendinger getting back up to speed with 23 laps to go.
Jumping ahead of Servia when Servia is running longer on this stint of fuel. That tends to favor whoever stops second.
As we watch Allmendinger being shown in 9th spot right now, the rookie driver really going to school here this season. You know his resume. Won the Barber Dodge Pro Championship 2 years ago, the Toyota Atlantic Championship last season. Comes to Champ Car, and he's put together some very impressive early season runs. He told us the other day, hey, I'm still learning to drive the race car. It's got so much more power than anything else he's ever been in.
He definitely has a lot of self-deprecating humor. After qualifying yesterday, he said, if we get the driver to quit spinning out as much, we'll be in good shape. Well, he didn't spin out near as much as some of the other guys, and he did it when it wasn't a big penalty. So there isn't anybody that doesn't think highly of A.J. Allmendinger. And a lot of times there's a lot of potential, but you never see it in terms of results. He's already put up a couple of top 5.
So Allmendinger in 9th. Back to Jimmy Vasser. He's advanced to 7th after making his last stop of the day. We heard earlier that Jimmy is making his 188th consecutive Champ Car start. That moves him further up the ladder, one of the all-time greats in open-wheel racing in this country. We'd be remiss if we didn't take note of the fact that the great Al Unser Jr. decided to call it a career in open-wheel racing earlier this week. Al Jr., a 2-time Champ Car champion, 2-time winner of the Indy 500, 2-time International Race of Champions champion as well. And Tommy, you've raced in IROC. That is quite an accomplishment.
Well, and I can say firsthand about Al Unser Jr., the one thing that always struck me is people say, oh, he was born to race. And you ask Al Jr. sometimes, hey, what were you doing there? I thought he was messing with me. He wouldn't tell you. It's just like he's not even aware of what he's doing. It just came so naturally to him. Incredible, natural race car driver.
The 2 championships and the 31 Champ Car victories. Second most all-time. Of course, all those great years with Team Penske. And his comment the other day when he said this is it, they weren't very competitive a week ago in their last race with the Patrick team. And he said, a driver knows. When I'm 42 years old, and I know I don't have the fire anymore.
It wouldn't surprise me after a little bit of a break so he can recharge, spend some time with his kids. It wouldn't surprise me if he came back in another form of racing. I think a break would do him well. Having come off a break myself, it's hard to do, but if you can set out for a while, he's got some gas left in that tank if he can get recharged. And like I said, the talent's not in question.
20 laps to go at Cleveland. Oriol Servia now back in second spot off the pit stop cycle. Again, he's playing that hand of cards he's been dealt here today with Dale Coyne's car. Ryan Hunter-Reay headed toward pit road in the 4. He is 10th, a little loose last time by Tommy, really working the wheel. They've had a difficult weekend. He's got a little hop there in the front end of that car.
I'm seeing more the front wing looks like it's
off the racetrack.
It's vibrating. The front wing, the integrity of the front wing is gone away. And that's something I noticed about the Newman Haas cars. If you look at the center strut where the nose is connected to the wing, it's a fiberglass piece. Every car in the field is like that except the Newman Haas cars. They've got metal struts coming down in the center holding the front wing on. For this reason, I think.
Derek Daly is in the Urdez pit. Derek, what's the situation?
We have watched the video very carefully here on the monitor. We can see that the integrity of the wing does not seem right. But however, Keith Wiggins, I asked him, they are not aware of any front wing problem, nor has Ryan radioed any difficulty. Maybe he doesn't realize that it's potentially about to break yet. Calvin?
Well, we're down in Dale Coyne's pit, and we're trying to monitor when Oriol Servia will pit, but what the teams use is this track position monitor, and it shows the car number and their relative position to the rest of the field. And what Dale Coyne said, we're in our window, we can stop at any time, we've got a little bit of fuel left, but we get balked in traffic, and there you can see the number 11 car right up behind the 55 of Mario Dominguez as they head through turn 7 onto that very difficult turn 8. They're almost right together there, and right at this time, the team have called it. They're running into traffic, they're going to bring him in. They can't afford to lose valuable time under green, so he'll be in there shortly, boys.
So Servia preparing to head down pit road for his final stop of the day. Being posted second behind Sebastian Bourdais right now. And we will see. He stays on track for at least one more lap. $16 to go. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. Hunter-Reay back up to speed. Not a factor. Sebastian Bourdais is your leader. Oriol Servia runs second. Bruno Junqueira third. Tagliani working that strategy has moved up a spot now. Servia and Vasser.
Well, actually, Servia just made his final stop. So Servia now has slotted in between Tagliani and Vasser. So everybody's made their final stops. And the order now, Bourdais, Junqueira with 16 seconds between the leaders. Tagliani, Servia, and Vasser.
Battle starting to take shape for third. Tagliani has the spot. Here he comes in the Rocket Sports number 8. Fourth spot belongs to Servia. Tagliani had been off in the grass at one point, had a difficult turn 1 where that big wreck happened that took out Tracy and Wilson, the front row starters. There's his progress through the field from 10th to make it up to third. A very good performance for the Rocket Sports team.
And, I mean, Paul Tracy pointed the finger squarely at Tagliani for causing that first turn incident. I put it more, he said he came screaming by me 100 miles an hour too fast. It wasn't clear to me that Tag wasn't going to make that corner on his own. I think it was more the pinball effect of Wilson, who was behind Tracy, couldn't see the brake markers, had no experience here, popped to the inside, not knowing Tagliani was coming. He ricocheted off of Tagliani into Tracy. I'd like to see some more replays, but it looks like Tagliani had a reasonable chance of making that corner.
Tagliani behind the lap car of Gaston Mazzacani, the 19, one of Dale Coyne's cars, the AMR, American Medical Resources machine. If you're just joining us, let's go back to what happened at the start of the race here today. Paul Tracy, the pole sitter, Justin Wilson alongside. Tracy heads to screen right, left here. They go 5 wide.
Wilson bops to the inside.
Flip Tagliani.
Tracy, it's hard to say if Tagliani went scooting by because of the contact with Wilson or because he had too much speed or a combination of the two. The fact is, actually, Tagliani did not make the corner.
I'm not so
he
sure.
Got together with Wilson.
I'm seeing this now again. We've watched it 3 or 4 times. Tracy had that damage to the undertrain. He ran over some debris after that. Mario Haberfeld headed to pit road. Calvin Fisher, they done for the day?
He is. He's out of the cockpit, unfortunately. And the gearbox issue that we talked about earlier, lost third gear, it went right through the box. Once you have some teeth flying around in there, it'll typically tear up the other gears. He is left with 2nd and 6. That's all he has, so they called it a day. Let's go down to Derek Daly.
Calvin, just a quick update on what happened to Ryan Hunter-Reay. There are 4 bolts to both this wing to this nose cone. It's hidden under this cover. 2 of the bolts either came loose or were knocked loose. But look at the dirt and debris on this front wing. That also gets over the driver's visor. Incidentally, the wall-banging incident from Ryan Hunter-Reay, he has a bent left rear suspension toe link. So he will not be as fast from now on.
Well, that's a good indication as to why he has fallen 2 laps off the pace. Earlier in the day, Hunter-Reay was up in the top 5 for a brief time. Bourdais, your leader, 16 seconds back as his teammate, the points leader, Bruno Junqueira. 12 to go. We're at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland.
But people expect deeds, not just words. That's what we deliver.
There are no gas grills at the Great Lenexa Barbecue Battle.
No gas.
Why not?
You don't get the flavor with gas. Charcoal is the thing.
Any particular charcoal?
It's Kingsford.
Yeah?
Kingsford.
For the taste.
Yeah. You get a better flavor out of your meat.
Kingsford, because taste is everything.
This Friday, see the movie.
Hey everyone, come and see how good I look.
Everybody's talking about.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
Will Ferrell, Anchorman.
You stay classy.
Rated PG-13.
He really likes that dog.
Starts this Friday everywhere.
Wound up about late fees? Why rent? The biggest movies are on demand with Time Warner Digital Cable. See mega movies like Paycheck.
You're done.
You don't remember me, do you?
I can't. Wipe my memory. Start at any time. Even pause it.
Your future awaits you no matter what you do.
Just go to channel 399 and choose from hundreds of great movies. Why rent? Go to channel 399.
Warm beer, lousy food, hot wings, and great sports. Join the fans at Crossroads Tavern and catch your favorite sport and your favorite team in action. Football, basketball, hockey, college and pro, whatever the season, we've got all the excitement on 10 TVs. Stop in for lunch or grab a snack and watch the game. And now, the best barbecue chicken in town. Crossroads Tavern, just off the Thruway or Interstate 81 on 7th North Street in Liverpool.
Our coverage today of the Champ Car World Series on Spike TV has been brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, a passion for excellence. And by the Ford Expedition, capability without compromise. 9 laps remain at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland with Tommy Kendall, Liebert Benjamin. It's been a dominant run for the Newman Haas mates. Sebastian Bourdais in car number 2 has led much of the way today. Bruno Junqueira has run second for much of the distance. Alex Tagliani and his team have put together some good strategy and a lot of great work in the Rocket Sports pit area. Tagliani has piloted the 8 car to 3rd. Serbia, and a good day for Jimmy Vasser. He is up into 5th spot. Let's get an update from pit road. Derek Daly.
Sebastian Bourdais, engineer Craig Hampson of the McDonald's car. Craig, your man has been dominant, but we saw a cloud of smoke earlier. Was there any concern? What was that?
Well, I'm fairly sure what you saw was some locking of the brakes, so it's tire smoke coming off the tires when they're basically not moving anymore and they're just grinding against the road. Late in the race, as the brake pads wear, it's harder to control the brakes of the car. You have to pump up the pedal, and he's probably struggling a little with that at this point. Fortunately, we've got a pretty good-sized lead, and as long as he doesn't make a mistake and spin or flat spot the tire so bad that the air comes out, we should be all right. We've been telling him everything's plenty in hand, but he can't slow down too much because you lose your rhythm, and that's when you really make mistakes.
Great. Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
So Sebastian Bourdais heading toward his second consecutive win here at Cleveland and his third in the early going of the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Bridgestone presenting the Champ Car World Series. There's your race leader with 8 laps left. Sebastian Bourdais leading last time by, though, by 18.5 seconds over Junqueira. Driving conservatively in the last handful of laps here at Cleveland. Next week, we'll be in Toronto, Exhibition Place, street circuit there, a legendary course for the Champ Car World Series, the Molson Indy Toronto, and you'll see it here.
Now, if you look close to the front of Sebastian Bourdais' car where the nose attaches to the wing, that's the part that broke on Ryan Hunter-Reay's car, and I've noticed this about the last 5 races on the Newman Haas cars. They've got metal struts going from the nose down to the wing, and I figured it was for extra strength and rigidity. If you, like in Monterrey, Mexico, is where I first noticed that. You couldn't break that wing loose, and it hasn't been an issue this year, but this is the kind of situation where the experience of the Newman Haas team and the experience with the Lola more specifically, it just shows up. Nobody comments on it, but they don't do anything for no reason.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I said, maybe that's a weak spot in the Lola nose design.
And when you hear the term a well-engineered race car, that's engineering.
Yep, absolutely. And good engineering is not only fixing things that have broken before, it's trying to foresee things that can go wrong as well as make the car faster.
4 laps to go. Bourdais has been the dominant force here today at Cleveland. 2nd year in a row. He appears to be on his way to victory lane. Push-to-pass numbers at the top of your screen. And just a handful of guys with time left. Bourdais and Junqueira really haven't had to use much of it. In fact, Bourdais got more than half a minute left. That shows you how dialed in they've been all day. Paul Newman watching. He and Carl Haas up on top of the pit box. There's Carl. Watching their driver from Le Mans, France. Bourdais hopes to win his hometown 24-hour enduro before his career is complete. Had a difficult run at Le Mans this year. Three laps remaining. Bourdais leads your running order at the top, along with push-to-pass time remaining. 8th spot to Dominguez, 9th to Levine. They're out of it. 10th right now to Nelson Philippe. So the 17-year-old, although he has not been as fast as the leaders, has run a very clean race and has profited greatly from the problems some of the quicker cars have had here. Tagliani runs 3rd, Servia 4th. A very good run for the Dale Coyne team.
Yeah, and Servia actually he didn't have the 2nd fastest lap of the race. Bourdais holds about 6 faster than anybody else, but Servia is the 2nd fastest driver, having posted a lap a little over 2/10 slower than Sebastian Bourdais. And Craig Hampson talked about the potential in losing your rhythm or your concentration. Sebastian Bourdais just turned a lap within a 1/10 of his quickest lap of the whole day.
2 laps to go as we lock in on Jimmy Vasser, who has a top 5 day going in the PKV Gulfstream Lola, but he's got A.J. Allmendinger filling his mirrors, and this is for position, Tommy Kendall, as the laps wind down. Allmendinger's really got the bit in his teeth. Now, he's been behind Vasser for quite a while and hasn't been able to do anything yet with Jimmy.
And at this point, it gets tough. I mean, the track is probably getting quicker. You see Bourdais running that lap towards the end. He's trying to keep the focus on stay sharp, but that means the track's probably getting quicker. But the other side of that is that the brake pedal might be getting a little bit longer. So that's something that at this point, sometimes the cars last just about as long as the race, so there's only 2 laps to go. It's hard to say if Jimmy's babying his brakes, if Allmendinger still has everything under him, but he's getting close enough, not quite close enough to make a lunge, but starting to fill Jimmy's mirrors. Jimmy's got enough experience. He's probably given back just enough to make it to the end.
Coming to the white flag, Bourdais picks up the white flag here at Cleveland. The McDonald's #2. Bourdais has dominated here today. Did not start on the front row. The 2 front row starters, Justin Wilson, the rookie, and Paul Tracy, the series champion, got together in turn 1 with a host of others. They crashed out early. Bourdais took over on the restart and has been out in front virtually all the way, other than the laps given up by going to pit road. And as we say, Bourdais still has 34 push-to-pass seconds left. He certainly won't need them on this final lap.
Someone needs to tell him those aren't like your cell phone minutes. You can't carry those over to the next race.
No rollover seconds allowed here. Last trip around this 2.106-mile circuit at Burke Lakefront Airport. Great move for the Champ Car World Series, announcing this weekend they have extended their contract with the city of Cleveland to run here at least 3 more years through 2007. This is the 23rd renewal of the Roar by the Shore. And Bourdais gunning for his 2nd consecutive win, his 3rd of 2004. Sebastian Bourdais is your winner of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. Not much to say about a great day like that for that team.
No, really. I mean, that's something where I'm sure he spent a lot of time last night figuring out how am I going to get even A, stay up with Paul Tracy, B, get around he and Justin Wilson. All of a sudden, those challenges evaporated at the start. It was a cruise from there on out.
Bruno Junqueira takes 2nd, the 3rd time this season that Bourdais has led Junqueira 1-2 to the checkered flag in the Champ Car World Series.
I saw a lot of fire, though, out of Junqueira today. Yeah. And that's what he's going to have to do if Bourdais gets on a roll like this. The safe route is not going to work if a guy is finishing races and running quicker than you.
Well, if Paul Newman was making a movie about what happened this weekend for Junqueira, the backstory is that Junqueira hit the wall twice. They had to fix the car, basically rebuild the car twice. Quickly downstairs, Derek Daly.
Paul, there is so much celebration with this team, and you're here to see them all. That Bourdais guy is pretty special.
Well, they're both pretty special. I mean, Junqueira went down to, 12th and came back up to 2nd. That's some drive, too. So, pretty spectacular.
A lot of champagne in this team. Do you like champagne?
I do now.
Thank you, Paul Newman. Always such a great supporter. It's great to see an owner always come to all these races despite his celebrity and having to fight away through the crowds.
So Bourdais waving, acknowledging the full house here at Burke Lakefront Airport, on their feet, cheering the great driver from Le Mans, France, in his 2nd season on the Tour. 3 wins already here in 2004. Tagliani does finish 3rd, a podium finish for the Rocket Sports Johnson Controls team. Serbia, how about that for Dale Coyne's team, a 4th spot?
Oh, I mean, that's like a win for those guys, and that's exactly what they needed. They've been quick. He was quick in the practice before qualifying, didn't get it done in qualifying, but man, really great run for that group.
And Jimmy Vasser, his first top 5 of 2004. Allmendinger is 6th, Gonzalez 7th. We show you 13th, Sperfico. Haberfeld, who didn't get to the finish again. Jourdain had a great day going, led several laps before getting into the wall, breaking the nose piece on the car, and then also breaking the left front suspension on the car and the rest of the field. Haberfeld, Jourdain, Carpentier, Tracy, and Wilson all out early.
Well, usually the drivers thank their sponsors. The Newman-Haas radio transmission to Sebastian Bourdais just now was make sure you thank Tagliani for taking out the front row.
Well, there'll be happy meals all around, I'm sure. Quickly to Calvin Fish.
Well, Billy Camphausen is helping Sebastian get out of the car. Sebastian Bourdais waving the checkered flag. This is a big win. 2 in a row at Cleveland. You love this place, Sebastian. Great performance today.
Yeah, it's a great performance for the Newman-Haas team. Obviously, the start helped us a lot, but that was a great race for us.
Any problems at all? It looked like you were totally in your stride, total domination once the front row went out there.
Yeah, it's just a bit in traffic. It's always difficult. I did one mistake at the first chicane, but I knew how to recover, so everything went fine for us.
Well, McDonald's car in victory lane here again at Cleveland. They dominated last year, and they've done it again here, boys.
Certainly, Sebastian Bourdais winning here as a rookie a year ago and then just whipping everybody today. That shows you the talent level that he has.
And he's shown that he is a tremendous front runner. When he gets out in front, gets into his groove, very little seems to slow him down. There goes Mr. Newman.
Yep.
I know for a fact that he likes to celebrate. Early in his movie career, he says, after I'd like to go off with Joanne, we'd get some champagne and some caviar and celebrate. I was flying back from a Champ Car race with him once, and he was trying to find some in the middle of the night where we were going to refuel in Texas, saying, we got to find some champagne and caviar. I'm like, in the middle of some podunk town in Texas? Go for it.
Celebration going on here at Cleveland as drivers and teams climb out of their race cars. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland complete. Sebastian Bourdais in victory lane on the cell phone, talking to perhaps a family member to let them know what a successful day he had here today at Burke Lakefront Airport. His 2nd consecutive win in this event, his 3rd win of 2004. And Bourdais in great shape as we work toward the championship. In 1 week, we'll be in Toronto at Exhibition Place, the Molson Indy Toronto. And 4 o'clock Eastern Time is when you will see our coverage next Sunday afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed it here today. There's Bruno Junqueira, the runner-up today, congratulating his teammate. The huge crowd filing out here at Burke Lakefront Airport. We have enjoyed it here this weekend. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We wrap up today our Champ Car World Series coverage from Cleveland. Be sure and join us next